Very good day.
Look at the Torah, Tzav, page Yudalid, second column, Eisei, but we started Eisei. So let's say start 10 lines into the paragraph of Hey. Okay, after that, Rabbi finished explaining the two levels of Matzah before Chatzos, after Chatzos. But it was before Chatzos we are able to accomplish what they did after Chatzos because we have Torah mitzvahs the whole year. So he says, now we can understand why by eating matzah 6 days you come to Shvi, you shall pay to Kriyas Yamsuf. So the Rebbe started explaining what is Kriyas Yamsuf, that Yam, Hapach Yam Le'Yabasha, that Yam becomes Yabasha. Both are the level of Malchus. Yam and Eretz, Yam is the concealed level of Malchus, and Eretz is the revealed level of Malchus. So the Rebbe started explaining, we'll start 2, 4, 6, 7 lines into Hey. So he says like this: Malchus is called Eretz and it's called Yam. There's a level of Malchus which is called Yam, a concealed level, and there's a level of Malchus that's called Eretz. He says like this: this level of Malchus that comes into the lower world of Bria Tzir Nasiyah, Lahachis Elamis, Miyayin Liesh, to give creation, Yesh Miyayin, Shem Chinas Almandis Galyin, which are the revealed worlds. Shenirim Davar Nifrit. They're not bottled to Elokus, they're not consumed in Elokus. They're separate entities. That level is called Eretz. Concerning that level, the pasuk says, the earth should sprout out vegetation. Or the earth should sprout out living animals, like it says in the Zohar. In many places, like the Alter Rebbe writes in Tanya Siman Chof, what is the primary life and existence of the Yesh, Miyayin of the Yesh? That Mimalchus Datzilis is the level of Malchus Datzilis that becomes the Atik, the Bria, the crown of Bria, came Melo Balayam. Masha'en came Mebchinas Samidus Atum Datzilis. Okay, let me explain what he's saying here. In the chain of the world, to picture it, you have the chain of the world, okay? So each, you have 10 levels of Atzilus, and then it goes into the next level of Bria. So when you have a link A going into link B, okay, picture a golden chain, okay? Each link has 2 levels. There's a level of the link that goes into the lower level, into the next link, and then you have the level of the link that's by itself, or in fact is connected to the higher link. Okay? So each link has really 2 levels. One that makes it go down into the next link, so it connects it to the lower level, and then it's a level that's connected to the higher level. So Malchus Datzilis is like that link, that there's a level of Malchus Datzilis comes into Bria. So how does it come into Bria? It becomes the crown of Bria, because it's still Datzilis. It becomes the crown of Bria, and then it goes down into the actual 10 levels of Bria. So this lower level of Malchus that goes into the lower world, that's called Eretz. Because Eretz is revelation. Now it's creating revealed worlds that are not consumed bottled like the Yam in Elokus. It becomes revealed. And he said, but the midas of Atzilus, Chesed, word, Tefes, Netzach, Yisayid, they're not coming into Bria. Malchus comes into Bria. So they remain on the level of Atzilus. What level of Atzilus goes into Bria? Malchus of Atzilus. Now, but there's 2 levels of Malchus. There's Malchus, like we said in the link. There's a level of Malchus that goes down. That's the level of Malchus called Eretz. The level of Malchus that doesn't go down into the next link, that's called Yam. That's still a level of Atzilus. So each link has 2 levels. It's the level of Atzilus and the level of Bria. So that level of link, Malchus, which connects Atzilus with Bria, the upper level of Malchus is called Yam, concealment, and the lower level that comes into Bria, that gives existence to it, that's called Yabosha. So Malchus, where does Malchus get its nourishment from? Malchus itself, from the higher spheres. Then, Mimana Dafka Nimshach Achar Kach B'Biyah. But Dafka Malchus is what goes down into Bria, not the other ones. Only the link that connects Atzilus and Bria is the level of Malchus. Ki B'chinas Erin Sa Kamei Shemei B'chinas Midas El Yen Midat Atzilus, because Elokus, which is revealed in the higher 6 spheres, the spheres of Atzilus, it can't come into Bia. Why not? Because Bria is Yesh Mi'ayin. Atzilus is Elokus. Elokus can't come down into Bria. That it should remain Bria. Yesh Mi'ayin, not bottled Elokus. Because in Atzilus, the Or, the Kalim, and everything is all one. Chesed Atzilus u'bechinas ein sof mamish. Chesed of Atzilus is unlimited chesed. It's infinite elokus. V'narech klal bechinas chesed the bria, which is level of gvul. In other words, like this. Atzilus is a unique world. Okay, Atzilus. Yeah, but Atzilus means 2 meanings. It has 2 meanings. One is the word Eitzel, which means near. So it's a level of near elokus. But it also comes to the word that says Hatzolav Afrasha. What's it Lagani Dal? It's Hatzolav Afrasha. It's like a manifestation. It's a separation. So Atzilus has basically 2 opposite connotations to it. From one side, Atzilus is a world of elokus. Therefore, in essence, Atzilus is only elokus. On the other hand, Bria comes into Yesh Mi'ayin. Now, why is it then called a world? Olam is Ha'elam, concealment. What's the difference between Atzilus and higher than Atzilus, and Atzilus then lower than Atzilus? The uniqueness of Atzilus is, even though it's a world, what's the limitation of the world? That there are 10 spheres. But each one is Chesed B'li Gvul, Gvura B'li Gvul, Chesed Elokus, Gvura Elokus, Chochma Elokus, Bina, Ivachei Echad, Ivagamei Echad, the Or and the Keli, it's all Elokus. Why is it called Olam? Because there's Chesed and Gvura and Tefet. Higher than Atzilus, there's no spheres, so to speak. It's only Elokus, it's unlimited Elokus. Now Elokus becomes limited. How does it become limited? That there's 10 distinct levels. But each one of the 10 levels is B'li Gvul. It's infinite. This is Chassidus 101, yeah? But, therefore, the 6 spheres of Atzilus themselves, the intellect of Atzilus, and the 6 spheres of Atzilus, because it's Elokus, meaning it's completely bottled Elokus, cannot reveal itself into Bria, which is already Yesh Mi'ayin. The intermediary between Atzilus and Bria, that's the level of Malchus. Therefore, any intermediary has to have a connection to both levels. If link 2 is connecting 1 and 3, so link 2 has to have a connection to 1 and a connection to 3. So Malchus has these 2 opposite levels within them. From one side, Malchus is a level of Atzilus, it's a level of Elokus. From the other side, though, Malchus is coming into Bria. These 2 opposite levels of Malchus are called Yam and Yabasha. Yam is the godly level of Malchus, and Eretz is when the Malchus comes into Bria.
What is Alter trying to say over here?
He's explaining that Yam and Yabasha, that Gilui of Yabasha Yam becoming Yabasha, is the same concept of eating Matzah. And therefore, through eating Matzah 6 days, can we come to the level of Kriyas Yamsuf. And in that generation, eating Matzah 1 day was enough to come to 7 days later, Kriyas Yamsuf. That's where he's heading.
So we are talking about twilight zone,
Malchus, you call it like Twilight Zone. Yeah.
right? So we had
I don't know Twilight, but whatever.
The
Yeah.
same concept is in the Shabbos, when the Shabbos will start.
Shabbos has both levels.
Well, that, and there is a time that although you think it's a Shabbat, it's not a Shabbos.
Same as Rosh's. He's talking about Beis Rosh.
I know, thank you.
Right, it's going to Shabbos, it's not. So the same.
There's in between, Malchus is in between. But there's a part of Malchus which is Atzilus, and part of Malchus that comes into Bria. The level of Malchus that's in Atzilus is called Yam. It's Botel Telukus, like the things in the ocean. The part that comes into Bria to create Yesh Me'ayin is already called Eretz, where you see separate entities. When you look at Yabasha, the dry land, and you see all those entities, you don't see the bittul of the inanimate plant, animal, and human to the Yabasha. It exists. Okay, so one.
That's when the infinite becomes finite, is becoming infinite.
The infinite becomes finite, yes. And the vessel of that infinite becoming finite and staying there is Torah mitzvahs. Because the Jew takes a physical object, we mentioned last night, every mitzvah is time and place, right? You can't put on tefillin on Shabbos, you can't put on tefillin at night. You can't eat matzah today. You're not going to get a mitzvah of eating matzah today, or eat the sukkah today. Every mitzvah is limited in time and place. Yet, dafka in that limitation, to reveal the essence of Hashem, the infinite level of Hashem. Which is remarkable. If eating matzah reveals this level of emunah and all that, so you should eat matzah today and get emunah. In other words, somebody has doubts in Yiddishkeit, they should go home and eat more matzah, and they'll have emunah. It's not going to work. And if they make a bracha on the matzah today, they're even going to get a sin for making a bracha in vain. Are you eating matzah? Dafke, when matzah is limited and restricted in time, the night of Pesach, dafke then, the Gashmis reveal the essence of Hashem. So to keep, like remember we learned the mitzvahs are called the bread of Hashem, bread keeps the neshama in the body. So mitzvahs is the food of Hashem, it keeps Hashem in the world. But that's why dafka down here, can we do it, not up there?
What does the concept of time stop, Malchut or Atzilus?
In Bria. Malchus is the source of Bria. Ve'ein arei klal. Ve'ein arei klal v'chinas chesed de Bria. Therefore, this level of chesed de Bria has no connection whatsoever, which is the level of gvul, limitation. What's Bria? Machin michol ba'ava. Like we know, the malach, right? Michol is ava. That's the kabel hashpah b'ishtaushus from chesed of atzilus, which is bli gvul. Now it comes into limitation of malach michol, which is the level of chesed of bria, and then gavriel is the level of gvura, and then the fall is tiferes, and so on. So how is it possible now that the bli gvul of atzilus, the unlimited level of Atzilus, come into limitation of Gvul? How could that happen? So this level of Chesed, in other words, Chesed of Bria, Michol, right, is rooted in Chesed of Atzilus. Now how does Chesed of Atzilus, which is infinite, come into a finite level of Chesed of Bria? It's only through the concealment of Malchus. Into the Bria. Not only that, when a person, again, the first minion takes a penny, shiny one. If they want the pushka to shine, you take a shiny penny and they put it into the pushka.
It's very shiny.
Very shiny. So at that time, believe it or not, they are a keli. It's the revelation of Chesed of Atzilus coming down into the world through the hand giving tzedakah. Like the Rebbe says in Tanya, a hand becomes a merkava, the chesed of Atzilus, at the moment you give tzedakah. The problem is, by the obvious, it's 24/7. By else, the same hand could do something wrong. Or like somebody could come back to shul after 2 days of break. You know what I mean? Then they finally come back. Ki midas malchus ureimus visnasus. Because malchus is reimamis, exalting, visnasus, removal. Like it says, amisnasim mimeis elam. A king, okay, you want to know malchus of the Ara came malchus of the Rakia. The malchus of the earth is similar to malchus of Lamaila. A king, not only halachically, the Rambam says this in Hilchos Melachim about a king, but a king is not allowed to be buddies with his subjects. He's not a king, then he's a buddy. A king has to be removed from the subjects. That's why it says, Misnase mimeis elam. Hashem is removed from the days of the world, meaning from the Sfiras. V'darach klau, what is his nasus, is the level of his stalkus, shelo yerid achas aleim kol kach. The king, what reveals himself to the king? Like we learned, the name of the king. The king said, the orders of the king, the speech of the king. The king himself is in the palace. Unless in the month of Elul, the king's melech basada. But like this, the melech has to be in the palace. He can't be buddies with the people. He has to be removed. If he would be buddies with them, he wouldn't be able to be a king. He wouldn't be able to tell people what to do. Because you're a buddy, I'll do it, I won't do it.
Yeah, I don't understand how 10 infinite known goods can be in Olam Hasid. Infinite chesed, infinite gibur. How could it be?
Why not?
How could 10 infinites be and be chesed? Chesed, infinite chesed. Infinite means infinite. Infinite means
Infinite being anything.
The Kalim are infinite. They're Kalim, but they're infinite. In other words, like we learned many times, Samach Tzaddik explains in Shosh Mitzvah Tefillah, in Derech Mitzvah, you have a bunch of colored glasses, okay? You put water in each glass. Now, what color is the water?
color of the glass.
No, it's not. The water remains colorless. Okay, I know. The water remains colorless. That means the water itself is, so to speak, bligvul. Now, when you look at the red glass, green glass, purple glass, whatever, as far as the outsider is concerned, realistically speaking, what color is the water? As far as I'm concerned, it's red, green, yellow, purple, whatever. Correct?
Yes.
Now, that is referring to, now is that bluff, the whole thing? No. There's the water the way it is by itself, and there's the influence of the water outside of it. Okay. Malchus Atzilus, in Atzilus, it says, is the level of Yam, because it's higher than Biyah. It's not coming in. But in order for it to come from into Yabosha, so to speak, into Biyah, there has to be this level of Malchus which is removed. Which means, in Atzilus, Chesed, Gevora, Teferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesod, Malchus are, you know, the 7 primary colors corresponding with the 7 Sfiras, 7 Midas. It says in Kabbalah, okay? Now, when you put water into a glass, the water is bligvul. Therefore, you can have Orda Chesed B'Klei HaGvura. But if the water would be red, and you put red into green, it's not going to be red anymore. It's going to be whatever color red and green together is. In fact, there really a question is, I'll never forget, we're in high school, we're learning Rabbi Yochanan and Shosh Mitzvah Tefillah. So we're learning the Maamar, and he screamed at us, why didn't anybody ask this question which is so obvious? If you're saying the water is colorless, and there's no difference in the water, so why is the expression or hachesed? It's not or hachesed, it's or pshitas. It's colorless water. In other words, why does the Maamar say red water in a green glass is colorless water? So why is it called or hachesed? I mean, we didn't ask the question because we thought Or Chesed means the Or that was in Chesed now comes into Gevurah. But he was telling us, he didn't explain it to us, but he told us, no, it's Or Chesed. The Or is connected somehow to the Keli anyway.
My question is, when you have infinite green, there is no room for infinite red.
Correct. That's why you have 10 spheres.
But they're all big wood.
Correct. Bligvul green, Bligvul red, Bligvul yellow, Bligvul Chesed, Bligvul Gevurah, Bligvul Tiferes. But it's still limited that it is Chesed and Gevurah and Tiferes.
His question is, how could unlimited be in unlimited? That's what he's
How can unlimited be unlimited?
No, unlimited inside and unlimited. This is what he's asking.
No, you're not.
How come unlimited green could be in unlimited world? When it's unlimited
No, that's not what he's
green,
asking.
that's what I'm saying.
No.
So you have 7 infinite legible chains.
No.
If there is one chain infinite.
Can I ask you a question? Okay. The Gashmistic emotion that we can get, okay?
Yes.
We learned this many times. Take a battery. A battery is energy, power, whatever you want to call it. Yeah? You put the battery in a flashlight, it makes light. You put it into a toy, it makes it move. You put it into a phone, it makes this. You put it into something else, it makes this. Yes? Now, this battery, is it departmentalized that there is a flashlight part of the battery and a toy part of the battery and this part of the battery? No. It is one simplistic power. Yes? When it comes into a flashlight, because the vessel is making light, so therefore it powers light. This doll that you put it to now can talk or walk or whatever, whatever the thing does. So now this power though is infinite, so to speak. Correct? But nevertheless, it's still limited in this compact battery. The battery is not Bligvul. The power of the battery is Bligvul, so to speak. Not Bligvul, but relatively speaking, it's Bligvul because this battery can do this toy and this toy and this toy and this toy and that thing. What?
So is it all itself that can be molded into any of these all chesed or so? I mean, is it all that is unlimited in general, and then depending on how it comes down, it changes its shape?
Yeah. When that or comes into chesed, it does chesed. When that or comes into gevurah, it does gevurah. Because again, you're talking about the functioning of it. When or comes into chesed, the function outside, it looks red, it looks green, it looks yellow. That's the function of it. But it's who could do that? Only Hashem could do that, obviously. But over there in Atzilus, the Kalim are also Bligvul. But they're Kalim. In other words, it's a Kalim of Chesed Bligvul and Gvurah Bligvul. Higher than Atzilus, there's no, so to speak, limitations. You understand? Because I don't. The miracle is you can understand it and I don't. Okay. No, I'm teaching it, and I still don't know what I'm talking about. And okay, good. Okay. Okay, like 7 lines from the end of the page. Yam, therefore, Malchus is called Yam, just like a Yam just like the Yam conceals what's in it. What does it do? Again, how does Atzilus come into Bria, into Yesh Mi'ayin, by Malchus concealing the infinite aspect of the Midas, which Yam, which conceals it. L'chein nikra b'chinas Malchus zu alma diskasya. But Masha Meidum is Pashit Mimenu Nevram de Biyah. This though for Malchus that comes into Biyah to make it exist. Eine B'chinazu Nikra Aretz. So the higher level of Malchus, which basically conceals the higher level of Elokus, and again, because Malchus is this intermediary, he has both levels, but Malchus conceals the higher levels of Elokus, and then it comes down into Bria, which is called Aretz. So now the Alter Rebbe is going to eventually explain, this is the concept of transformation of Yam becoming Yabasha. That these hidden levels that Malchus conceals, because they're too great to come down into Biyah, which is already limitation, and this is infinite, right? So now that Malchus becomes Yabasha, that means those infinite levels that normally need to be concealed in Malchus to be able to come down, now become revealed, as is.
We have a concept of Shamayim and Aretz. The purpose was Eretz. Hashem created, is it connected to this right?
Yeah, what is the kavanah? Eretz is Shamayim. By the way, that's the machlekes Beisham and Beisilul, because there's a contradiction in the Pesukim. The pasuk Reishit Bar Likim Esa Shamayim Esa Aretz. Shamayim first, then Aretz. Okay? At the end of creation, right before Sheni, it says, Elu told us that Shamayim Aretz Bihi Baram, B'yei Maseis Hashem Elokim, Eretz V'Shamayim. So there's a machlekes Beisham Beisilul. Did God create Shamayim first, or did God create Aretz first? The same thing, there's a machlekes between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua. Did Hashem create the world in Nisan, or did Hashem create the world in Tishrei?
Today is the Bria side.
What?
Today is one of those days.
Today is one of those.
What do you
Today
mean?
is one of those opinions, the Bria side, no?
Today? You mean today in the world? Ah, who cares?
No, right now, in the calendar.
Chafeya, Fani. Today's Chav Gimel. Chafeyad, if you hold the world was created in this, and then the world was created Chafeyad or Chafeyad. 1 second, so let me finish the point. You can't have a machlekes in a fact. Did Hashem create the world? You can have an argument in Allah. Is it allowed or not allowed? You can't have an argument in a fact. They ask, how do you have a machlekes in a mitzias? Did he create heaven first or earth? He couldn't create both first. Or did he create heaven or earth in this and a tishrei? It's basically time and place, same ink. So Chassidus explains, like always, they're both right. There's the intent of creation, and then there's the actual creation. The intent of creation is Aretz. Because Dira B'Tachtein. But in order to do that, you have to have Shemayim. In other words, actual creation was done in Tishrei, which is a level of Tshuva, Tavshin Reish Yud, the Aleph base backwards, Tavshin Reish Yud Tishrei. The same letters as Reishis. In actual, it's Aretz first. What's the purpose of creation? Of Tachteinim? To make a data, to reveal Elokus, Nisan, Nes. What's the purpose? The actual creation is Aretz first. What's the purpose of Aretz? To break Shamayim in Aretz.